Hi, and welcome to my first ever gardening video. My name is Tran. I live in central North Dakota. Our growing zone is zone 4A. So we do get really cold up here, and our last average frost date is around May 19th. I was a little anxious this year, so I started planting on the 18th, and I kind of paid dearly for that, and we'll see that when we do a quick tour over there. The purpose of this video is just to introduce myself and to give you a quick tour. In future videos we'll talk about things such as mulching, the wood chip mulching that I do, fertilizing organically, and other garden related topics. And if you want to talk about certain topics, put it in the comment below and I'll check it out and I'll make a list. So I still work, and my gardening is pretty much evenings and weekends. I'm hopeful that I will still be able to do a video each week and do a quick update and a garden tour and talk about a topic for the week. Although I've been out here for 12 years now, this is my 12th year of gardening out here. I'm still learning a lot, and if you're a gardening enthusiast like myself, click the subscribe button below and hit the bell so that you get notification on the next video. That way we can learn together. So let's head over there for the quick tour. I apologize in advance for the video because this is all new to me, and the video is likely going to be a little shaky. So let's go. Alright, so here's the beginning of the tour of the garden. So the garlic here I put in last October, around the third week in October of last year. And this variety, I don't know the name of it, but it's something that was given to a friend of mine. He grew it for about 5 years, and I helped him with some of the harvesting. So he gave me 20 bulbs, and out of the 20 bulbs, he allowed me to pick the 20 biggest ones. And out of those 20, I'm able to put down about 115 segments, and these are the babies from those 20 bulbs. This is a cattle panel trellis that this is my first year with this trellis, so I'm excited to see stuff growing on it. Right now I've got Kajari melons toward the front part, and then my mom talked me into putting in some bitter melon. They're an Asian melon that's supposed to really be healthy for you, good for you. Here's a vertical cattle panel trellis that I put up for my indeterminate tomatoes. These tomatoes are doing pretty good up toward the front, but toward the back, the frost took care of the tops of this Beauty King tomato. The top is kind of messed up, but I think it'll come back. Here's another one that kind of got partially fried. Here's another one. These two are pink tie-dyes. They're going to be really cool when they're producing. There wasn't a manna orange in this tomato in this spot, but I had to yank it out because it was totally dead. So what I did was I put down some carrots. So we'll see what happens there. Here's a spare Amana orange that I had. That saved the day there. A spare Beauty King. I had to pull the original one out. These are my purple bell peppers. They're doing pretty good, except for this little guy. The top got frost and the top got fried, but I think it'll come back. Over in this area here, I've got peppers, I've got broccoli, some Russian purple kale, and eggplants, and a couple tomatoes mixed in. This one is a big pink tomato. It also got fried by the frost, but I think it'll make it. Anaheim pepper. This one's looking pretty good. There was a tomato here that I had to pull out, and I put in this Cocozelle squash. It's an Italian squash I've never planted before, but it looked really cool. Looked like a zucchini with stripes from the picture, so I thought I'd give that a shot. In this area here, I have buttercup squash. The tops of some of the leaves took a beating too from the frost. These are my sugar babies, watermelons. They're doing okay. They're getting used to the cold soil down there, and with the heat that we're having this week, things should warm up and they should take off. Over here are some garlics that they're giant Russian garlic that I had purchased. They're organic garlic bulbs that I purchased online, and I got to feeding them a little late, so that's why the tips are a little yellow, but they're well fed now, so they should come back pretty good. Couple of red Russian kale. They're doing well. In this area here, I've got 3 different varieties of sweet peppers. I've got Yellow Bell, I've got California Wonders, and then I've got Giant Chinese Bell. They're supposed to be really big and really red. We'll see what happens. This is the first time I've planted them. These are candy onions. They were put in, about a week and a half ago. They're doing pretty good. This is the sweet corn. We put in 5 rows. We're hoping to get about 40 plants. And they're starting to pop up. I plant them pretty close together, hoping that I'll be able to thin them out once they're all up. Back there are a couple trellises for beans and cucumbers. This one over here to the left will have beans and cucumbers. To the right, we will have tiger melons and yard-long beans. It's going to look pretty cool once the beans are hanging down from the trellis. Right here, I've got Moon and Star watermelons. they're also having a tough time with the cold soil. That's why right now they're not covered in mulch. I'm trying to let the ground warm up a little bit where they are, and then in about a week after this heat that we're getting, I'll cover it up with alfalfa and then some wood chips over the top. So those are yellow spots on the leaves. They're normally that way. These watermelons will grow up to about 30 pounds and they'll be green with yellow spots on them. Here are the beans at the base of the trellis. They're doing really well. The cucumbers, pickling cucumbers, they're starting to get used to the ground. They were doing nothing for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. These are the yard-long beans. It's pretty fun to watch them get big every day. In this heat, they really took off today. They were just little seedlings about a week ago. And on the other side of the trellis, we've got little seedlings coming up. These are Tigger melons. And if you haven't, this is the first year I'm growing these, and if you haven't seen them before, look them up. They look pretty cool. Over in this area of the garden, this area, I haven't gardened in about 3 or 4 years. So this year I decided to expand, so I tilled it up. So after these plants get a little bit bigger, I will be covering the garden up. I will be covering the garden up with some alfalfa, and then I'll layer a layer of wood chips on top. So those 2 piles back there are my compost piles, and they'll probably get sprinkled on top of the wood chips. Over here underneath the alfalfa, you can see some onions coming up. These were onion sets. We're just kind of doing an experiment with onion plants versus onion sets to see which ones produce better onions. So it's going to be an interesting fall once harvest begins. My compost pile needs to be turned. I've got a bunch of coffee grounds that's ready to be thrown in there. Potatoes, they're doing pretty well. And there's my guardian of the plants. Mr. Owl. Mr. Owl gets moved around once in a while, so the rabbits don't get used to him. Since I live north of town, outside of city limits, in a subdivision that's got a lot of trees, the deer live in these trees back here, and they tend to come out and share the bounty. This year, we've got a couple secret weapons. This one took me about 5 minutes to put together. And the other one, you can see right up there. We'll get a closer look at him. Yeah, so if let's take a look at him real quick here. This one also took me about 5 minutes to put together, and it shows. So if you take a close look at the garden, and you will hardly see any weeds, and it's been just amazing how the wood chip just suppresses the weeds. And I think in the next episode, next video, I'll show you what's underneath here. We'll dig through and show you how moist the ground is, even though we're in the middle of a drought right now. So that's a garden tour. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in about a week or two. Thank you for watching. Bye.